use it. Back on the Kali Linux machine, so one thing that I noticed, I wanted to note that if you have the 2020 version of Kali Linux, Sparta is not going to be included on it, and you won't be able to download it from what I could tell, at least not by traditional means, because it relies on an earlier version of Python, and they took out tools that relied upon that version of Python in this version of Kali Linux. So there's another tool that's the exact same thing. It's called Legion. So if you can check to see if you have it or not, or if you're using an earlier version of Kali Linux and you want to, be on exactly what we're using, you should do apt install Legion. And I believe that this one just comes with it on there. So we can just type in Legion and hit enter. And let's give it a minute. It's going to pop up with a nice little GUI. So we can go ahead and actually conduct our scanning. So we could just click here and add our host to the scope. We're just going to do one just, for the sake of time. So we're going to do 192.168.56. And right here, you can put .0/24 if you wanted to do a whole subnet for your own purposes. Right now, we only have limited hosts on here anyway, so that would just waste time and, resources. I only have one laptop. So I'm going to do 104 for the Metasplittable machine. And then it's going to run an mmap post discovery. So it's going to check, see, hey, is this host up? And then also it's going to run a staged mmap scan, which is going to pretty much, it's like a layered mmap scan that does it like pretty efficiently. And then it's also going to be running Nikto, and we can optionally run like the brute force tool if we wanted to. We're not going to do that here, but you can play with that on your own if you wanted to. And it's also going to do the screenshot tool where it's going to take screenshots of, some potentially open ports and stuff. So hit submit. And then it's going to start the process, going to start to cook some stuff up, and you're going to see stuff start to pop up on the screen, and then we can check out the results. So let's just give it a minute and we'll come back. So now we have some results in here, so we can actually go ahead and start to look at the results and see what's going on. As you can see, it found a lot of the open ports that we found before. I believe it's still doing some things, but it can take a while. Some of these stage mmap scans can take a while. It also ran some like enumeration stuff, like some of the tools from Nmap, so it actually looked for some vulnerabilities for us, so that's pretty neat. So what we can do is see like, hey, these ports are open, it's running these services, so it kind of automates the process for you. I prefer to use this and in combination with Nmap, because I like to do some, some hands-on stuff myself with Nmap, like some very specific things. But this is a good tool that kind of like lays it out so you can see everything, and it kind of like I said, it does it for you. So like I said, it does the Nikto scan. This is what output from Nikto would look like. We'll also see that a little bit later on. But it's actually seeing that there's a lot of stuff that we can potentially take advantage of, and these are things that we can search up and probably find. Like for example, the PHP MyAdmin is something that's very commonly found that's exploitable and can be an issue, so that's something we'll probably look into once we get into that section. So it found a lot of vulnerabilities, and then it did a screenshot. I don't think that it has anything hosted right now on port 80, but it would have done a screenshot of the web page if it would have found something. And let's see, it ran these other scripts, and these are it didn't have any output for the SMTP one, but it does have some output for the SMB enumeration. And it's kind of what we did before, where it found like, the SMB shares that it's like connected to and such. So you can play with this and look through the different stuff. Like, hey, we ran the Postgres, a default script, trying to see, it doesn't. Yeah, so it found a valid password actually, and Hydra actually went through and figured out what the password was. So that's pretty good. So it kind of automates a lot of the process for you. So I really recommend that you look into this and try to see the different stuff that you can actually find. And like once again here, it found a valid password as well. Pretty much like right here is FTP anonymous logon is allowed, so that's pretty neat. Very powerful tool, automates everything for you for the most part. So you can use this, or you can do the command line stuff if you want to be a little bit more hands-on and specific.